At one point in the early part of the year, the words Cody Rhodes will never leave AEW may have come out of my mouth.
It's a weird position to be in this. I don't think I've ever got a wrestling prediction wrong. But I did say that I thought that The Undertaker would return to the wrestling ring in 2022 because they all do. Ric Flair's probably going to come back next year. I didn't bank on the fact that he wasn't going to return to the wrestling ring and instead he was going to do his own one-man show. What's it called? One Dead Man Show. Actually, I've seen a bit of it if you'd... Spoilers, everyone. If you'd like to see a bit of it, he's, doing the whole stand-up thing. Is this thing on? He says, I saw my wife sleeping on a pile of sugar snap. May she rest in peace.
The wrestling prediction that I got horribly wrong in 2022 was that my boss was going to buy me a new chair to prevent me from almost falling off of it on a daily basis. No, it's the same as it was in 2021, actually. It's Eddie Kingston was going to win the AEW World Championship in New York City at Grand Slam, his home city. All of that stuff. They might even get DMX for the entrance music, pay for Rough Riders anthem, all of that stuff. Which would have meant so much. It would have been the ultimate babyface, sympathetic triumph on home turf where he's received like a hero everywhere, but especially in New York. And it just hasn't happened twice in a row. Now, obviously there's a degree of fanboyism to this. I'm an Eddie Kingston guy. He's one of my favourite wrestlers. There is a degree of absurdity to it because it would require tearing up like a year of storylines just so Andy Murray can have his enjoyable moment. But it would have probably made me cry, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how you can't not get behind Eddie Kingston. And I think for him, the zenith of his pro wrestling story is finally winning the big one and then losing it a week later in cruel heel fashion. So I'm going to make this prediction again for 2023, and when it doesn't happen again, I'll be sat right here, hopefully not on this thing, saying the same thing over and over again. But come on, Tony Khan, get it together. Give Eddie the belt.
The wrestling prediction I got horribly and embarrassingly, quite frankly, wrong was that Roman Reigns could never, will never, and would never actually be received as WWE's top star, or indeed wrestling's top star. There was a point in which I felt the entire thing was one big fraud. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for WrestleMania felt like an embarrassment of an announcement. The match itself was dreadfully boring. I was in attendance the very next night on Monday Night Raw when they teased for 3 hours that Roman Reigns, the undisputed 2 belts guy, the world champion, the visual they were obsessed with, was going to come out and acknowledge his new status and indeed get Dallas to acknowledge him. The only finger it felt like WWE were putting in the air was not the index one, but the middle one. And yet, somehow it has happened. I think Sami Zayn is obviously a huge credit to that. The chemistry between all the members of the Bloodline, the advancing, and the quick debut and advancement of the roster of Solo Sikoa has just exponentially helped this Roman Reigns character. It's breathed life into the Bloodline act, and it has made him, in turn, feel like the star that WWE has always told you that he was. They sacrificed so many heels to this cause, and it didn't feel like that. Sorry, so many baby faces to this cause, and it didn't feel like there was anybody new on the horizon. So the merit of Roman Reigns as a villain was completely useless without the heroes for him to slay. Now there is an armload of wrestlers that you want a fantasy book against him. You've got Sami Zayn, you've got Kevin Owens, Sheamus, the returning Cody Rhodes. There are all these people that you want to see him fight, and that's before the dream match of The Rock that actually now feels like a dream. I was foolish to never, ever, ever acknowledge him because Roman Reigns is indeed the one.
I was absolutely convinced that this year we would get Bryan Danielson in New Japan. I mean, going towards the end of last year, he was doing like interviews about all the dream matches that he possibly could have. WWE were even trying to make it work a little bit, like in the run up to WrestleMania, there was always all those rumors that they were going to do like a working relationship. They couldn't get it done for Bryan Danielson. They got it done for Carl Anderson, but you can't get it done for Bryan Danielson. What the hell? And then he leaves WWE, he goes off to AEW, and you're like, now's the time. Like, this is Dream Match City. And then he wrestles Minoru Suzuki in AEW, and he wrestles Rocky Romero, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all the New Japan Dream matches that you managed to sort out for Bryan goddamn Danielson, the guy who's been saying he wants to wrestle all these major stars forever. And then you have the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Obviously, like, it was unfortunate that he couldn't do that, but then you were just going to do Zack Sabre Jr. there, and no offense against Zack Sabre Jr., like, that match would have been incredible, but where's the Okada match? Where's the Tanahashi match? There is so much more that you can do with Bryan Danielson. You've got the Forbidden Door, goddammit. Open it up and let him go over there. It has to happen in 2023. I have no idea how it didn't this year.
My wrestling prediction that I got horribly wrong in 2022 will be that at one point in the early part of the year, the words Cody Rhodes will never leave AEW may have come out of my mouth. Now, this was when all the crazy stuff was going on with is he a face, is he a heel, the Cody versus people were talking about. And I meant it in a very positive way. I saw Cody as a fundamental part of that company, as a cornerstone. Obviously, he helped start it. And I liked all the stuff he was doing. I was one of the people that thought there was definitely something there that could evolve. Obviously, it all went a little bit crazy. But I never actually thought that he would let his contract expire and then go back to WWE. But ultimately, when you look back on it now, I don't see how you can say it wasn't an amazing move for him. Like, if wrestling is all about moments, which it is, seeing that WrestleMania, comeback, that entrance, which I was, me and the WhatCulture guys were there live. It's one of the best things that I've ever experienced in pro wrestling. It felt so cool, and then it felt so cool to watch it back again. You kind of got the same kind of adrenaline, the irony, adrenaline in my soul. Massively regret saying it, but it's out there. That's the worst part about YouTube, is that you say these things and there's no way to delete them. And if you do delete them, people will kick your ass even more. But yes, I certainly never expected Cody to leave AEW. And that's it now. That's why I'm never saying anything like that again. Doesn't matter who it is. If you came in here right now and banged me on the head because you're a weird person, and you said, could Triple H go to AEW? Yes. He absolutely could. There is the potential for anything. That is what 2022 wrestling has taught us. Don't imagine whatever you think is going to happen is probably not going to happen. It's going to be the opposite thing. Maybe that's why it's so damn good to be here.
Not to be a complete dick, but I got one absolutely spot on. I predicted, and you can go on whatculture.com/WWE, do it anyway, it's great, for the proof. I predicted that Strowman was coming back, and if that doesn't seem bold, right?
Yeah.
Remember this time last year where he was. He was fronting Outlaw Chud Show. Control your narrative. He was lower than low, and yet he came back. So I got that one absolutely bang on. I did not get bang on. Look, I'm quite a cynical guy as it pertains to WWE. And lest we forget, AEW were kind of on their heels towards the end of 2021. So I thought, you know what? It's all going to go to crap. They're going to get desperate. They're going to make a 2019-esque Bischoff move and rehire Vince Russo. And the world was going to burn. There was a new change in creative leadership. And that creative change in leadership did bring back invisible camera segments, impromptu matches. You don't know who the baby faces and the heels are. It's all a bit rubbish. It's all a bit 20 years old, but it was actually Triple H who did that and not Vince Russo.
So I didn't make too many bold predictions for 2022, and I'm kind of glad, because this year has been absolutely weird. But one thing I was kind of sure of was the result of Forbidden Door. I was really certain that Tanahashi was going to walk away as the All Elite Wrestling Championship, which I'm not sure wouldn't have been the right decision, even still. Obviously, we were building towards Punk and Tanahashi. Punk got injured. We put Moxley in there for the interim title. And it was really the only match on that pay-per-view between a New Japan star and an All Elite Wrestling star that felt like it had actual consequence, because it was for AEW titles, and I was very intrigued about the possibility of Tanahashi sticking around in All Elite, showing up a few more times, or taking the belt to Japan. All of that seemed really exciting, and of course holding on to it until Punk came back. Instead, they went with Moxley. Not a complaint. Moxley has been the consummate professional of that company this year. He has put All Elite Wrestling on his head while the water has risen. All of the nonsense that company has gone through on screen, backstage, etc. Yeah, no complaints, but a part of me still would have liked to have seen Tanahashi as AEW champion, to be quite honest.
I was inside of the Principality Stadium at Clash at the Castle, and I was absolutely convinced we were going to see Drew McIntyre lift his sword with one hand and all the belts with the other, and that didn't happen. It looked like it was going to happen for a minute there, or we were going to have at least get like the title change with Theory and Tyson Fury just ruin everything. But I was just convinced. I was so convinced. I was like, now is the time. It's the first British show in like decades. Everyone's here. Everyone's on his side. You've got the hero, the homecoming hero, kind of. He's Scottish, not Welsh. It was there, and it felt I was there for the ride. I got absolutely suckered into it, and then he lost because of course he lost because it's Roman Reigns. He didn't even need his entire bloodline. He just needed a debut in Solo Sikoa. But this just absolutely broke my heart. I mean, I know it was kind of like a mid-year prediction because it was only as it started developing through the year that we knew it was going to happen. But it was one that absolutely broke my heart. I'll be honest, I was there. It was my first big, massive live WWE event in the stadium, and my heart was broken. And that's just how WWE does it, isn't it?